Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to KiniFlash. Former past Deputy President Nasharudin Mat Isa has claimed trial to 3 charges of money laundering and 30 counts of criminal breach of trust or CBT amounting to almost 4 million ringgit. Nasharudin was charged with 3 counts of indirect involvement in money laundering under the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities or Amla Act 2001 and 30 CBT charges under Section 409 of the Penal Code. The 3 Amla offences allegedly took place in 2018 and amounted to just over 300,000 ringgit. Meanwhile, the CBT charges allegedly took place between 2015 and 2018 and involved some 3.7 million ringgit in funds linked to Nasharudin's position as chairperson of the Nassar Foundation and CEO of the Global Movement of Moderates. PKR Deputy President Osman Ali has responded to claims that he was working with UMNO's Sembrong MP Hishamuddin Hussein to form a backdoor government that will see the DAP and Amanah left out, while PKR President Anwar Ibrahim's rise to prime ministership blocked. When asked today, this is what he had to say on the matter.
Jadi kalau ada pihak yang nak merubah pentadbiran dan kerajaan lebih awal daripada itu 2 tahun atau 1 tahun, itulah sebenarnya kerajaan pintu belakang. Sepatutnya biarlah Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad kekal sebagai Perdana Menteri sehingga selesai tempoh penggal ini, kerana itu mandat yang diberikan oleh rakyat.
Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today claimed that several allocations announced by his ministers in Tanjung Piai ahead of a by-election there was merely a coincidence.
Ya, kita sebelum dinamakan calon, kita menjalankan tugas biasa. Waktu mana pun kita buat peruntukan. Tetapi ini kita buat peruntukan secara kebetulan ada pilihan raya di situ.
Mahathir was responding to accusations that Pakatan Harapan was engaging in vote buying through the allocations. Yesterday, opposition leader Ismail Sabri Yaakob had rubbished the justifications, saying that the Pakatan Harapan government had 1.5 years to announce whatever allocations they wanted to. Meanwhile, when met at the Parliament lobby today, Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman defended the allocation of 4 million ringgit that he had announced in Tanjung Piai last Saturday. He said the allocation was already approved at the request of the late MP and had been discussed for a long time.
Bukan sekarang diturunkan. Perkara ni dia pun dah tahu. This is something which we have discussed already.
Tapi kenapa sebelum PRK bukan lepas PRK?
Sebab dulu media tidak pernah tanya saya dulu. And now when media ask me, apa pembangunan sukan yang ada di sini? Saya maklumkan.
Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today maintained that he will not retract comments he made about India's handling of the Kashmir and Jammu region conflict despite a threat of a boycott on Malaysian palm oil by India. Mahathir was asked if he would retract and apologize for his statement made at the United Nations General Assembly last month, where he urged India to abide by the UN resolution on the region, which in turn raised anger in India.
All we are saying is that we should all abide, not just India, not just Pakistan, but even America and other countries should abide by the resolution of the UN. Otherwise, what's the good of having the UN?
Mahathir also said that the government is looking into coming up with regulations to protect the interests of those working in what's called the gig economy. He said that the government is concerned about the well-being of workers involved in the gig economy and wanted to have regulations and laws so that their rights are protected.
Bagi pekerja biasa, sudah ada peraturan-peraturan berkenaan dengan simpanan wang dan pension serta KWSP, tetapi bagi gig economy ini yang tidak mengikut apa-apa peraturan yang dikenali sekarang ini, kerajaan terpaksa memeriksa apakah kepentingan pekerja-pekerja terlindung ataupun tidak.
Now let's take a look at some international headlines. Thailand's king has stripped his newly named royal consort of her titles and military ranks for being, quote, disloyal and conducting a rivalry with the queen. Thailand's king, His Majesty Maha Vajiralongkorn, has stripped his newly named royal consort of her titles and military ranks. This came just months after His Majesty made Sininatwong Vajirapakdi a royal noble consort. In a statement on Monday, the palace said that this was done as she was being, quote, disloyal and conducting a rivalry with Her Majesty Queen Sutida. King Vajiralongkorn was crowned as constitutional monarch in May after first taking the throne following the 2016 death of his father, the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej, who reigned for 70 years. Before Sininat's elevation, the title of Royal Noble Consort had not been used since before the end of Thailand's absolute monarchy in 1932. The statement, which was read out on TV, described vivid details of Sininat's behavior, saying that she had opposed Queen Sutida's appointment because she had hoped to be named Queen herself. The statement also called her, quote, ambitious in trying to obtain royal titles and, quote, self-promoting in exercising her royal activities. Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri agreed on Sunday to a package of reforms to ease an economic crisis that has sparked protests aimed at ousting a running elite, which is seen as being riddled with corruption and cronyism. Lebanon approved an emergency reform package on Monday after 4 days of protests over dire economic conditions, but the move did not go far enough to persuade demonstrators to leave the streets or for investors to halt a plunge in its bonds. Hundreds of thousands of people have flooded the streets since Thursday, furious at a political class they accuse of pushing the economy to the point of collapse. Roads were blocked for a 5th day across the country, with schools, banks and businesses closed. In a televised speech, Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri said that the new measures might not meet the protesters' demands, but they were a start towards achieving some of them. The reforms included the symbolic halving of the salaries of ministers and lawmakers, as well as moves towards implementing long-delayed measures vital to putting the public finances on a sustainable path. But some protesters were not convinced and said that they would carry on. Protesters sang into the night in Beirut and continued to demonstrate in other parts of the country. Investors said the turmoil showed Lebanon was running out of time to fix its economic problems. Now, before we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, here are some other news highlights from today. And that's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen. For more, you can log on to KiniTV.com. Don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Daily Motion for the latest news. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching.